Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire was directed by Adam Wingard, and it stars everyone. And this movie takes place after the events of Godzilla versus Kong. So in this movie, we have Godzilla somewhere on the surface. We have King Kong down there on Hollow Earth, and this new we have this new evil threat. We have this new evil threat coming, who's taken over by the Scar King, and now Godzilla and King Kong both have to work together as a team to go against the Scar King, and now we got our movie. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. I was really looking forward to this movie. It's mainly because, here's the thing. I am a big fan of Godzilla vs. Kong. I actually enjoyed the hell out of that movie. That movie was awesome. I like the way that Godzilla and Kong had a face-off fight in that movie. That movie was awesome. But with this movie, so with this movie, on the other hand, I saw some reviews and I saw some reviews about this movie. I heard some mixed things about the movie. Some people like it, some people hate it. But for me, in my opinion, I may not be a fan of the MonsterVerse, but I really, really like this movie. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. So, I mean, I saw that the critics didn't like it, but the audience loved it, and I think I'm one of them who actually likes this movie. So, with this movie, in my opinion, I mean, it might not be as good. So, after seeing the trailer for this movie, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, okay, this is getting the MonsterVerse fans excited. But after after watching the trailer, I was like, I mean, to be honest, I don't know if this movie is going to be as good as Godzilla vs. Kong. And it turns out, I mean, yes, there were some mixed feelings I had with this movie, and it turns out it wasn't. But yeah, there were some mixed feelings I had with this movie. There were some things I like, some things I don't like. But with that down, I guess that's pretty much it. Let's just talk about the actors and the characters themselves. But we're going to start off with the monster characters. We're going to start with is Godzilla. Now, Godzilla in this movie, he's barely in the movie because his name is in the title of this movie, but he's not really in the movie all that much. Does it suck? Yes. I don't know why he's not really in the movie all that much, because he's just a side character. Maybe they just pushed him aside. So, which kind of sucks. So I wanted to see a chemistry in this movie. The thing I wanted to see in this movie is the chemistry between Godzilla and Kong. And I was like, look, y'all may not like each other, but I wanted to see y'all chemistry. That's what I wanted to see in this movie. Did that happen? No. That kind of sucks. But Godzilla's just wandering around like somewhere on the surface, minding his own business. But what's really awesome, he's recently a badass in this movie. So what's really awesome about this movie with these new powers that he gotten, like the powers that he had from the previous Godzilla movies, his powers, whenever he makes a beam in the sky, his power is blue. Is actually colored blue. But in this movie, now they changed his color to pink, which showed us an explanation in this movie. So I was like, okay, cool. I said, okay. I said, oh, so this is where he got these powers from. I said, okay, good explanation. At least they gave us an explanation, so which is good. It showed us an explanation for this movie, and that's pretty much it. But like I said, I wanted to see a chemistry. I wanted to see the chemistry between Godzilla and Kong, but I guess that didn't really happen because Godzilla is not really in the movie all that much, which does kind of suck. But it is what it is. But Godzilla is really good in this movie, and that's all I can say for Godzilla. Next up is King Kong. Now, King Kong in this movie, he's the only monster character in this movie to get way more screen time in this movie. I mean, yes, he's just down on Hollow Earth, just doing his little thing, minding his business, until he encountered this evil empire that's taken over by the Scar King, and now him and Godzilla have to work together as a team to go against the Scar King that's taken over this evil empire down on Hollow Earth. And that is all I can say for King Kong. And also, he is a badass also as well in this movie. So, that's all I can say. And King Kong is pretty good in this movie, and that's all I can say for King Kong himself. Then we get to the main villain of this movie, of the MonsterVerse, and that is the Scar King, the main villain of this movie. This villain is a power-hungry ape, a power-hungry monster, evil, dark, decepting. And oh my god, this villain really this I feel like Scar King in this movie really surprised me as a villain. I mean, from Godzilla versus Kong, we had Mega Godzilla, who is basically the main villain in that movie. But in this film, we have the Scar King as the main villain in this movie. Now, Godzilla and Kong both have to work together as a team to go against the Scar King, and that is pretty much it. So yeah, Scar King in this movie just takes over his evil empire down on Hollow Earth inside this cave, and man, so I guess that's all I can say for the Scar King. And Scar King is like easily, in my opinion, one of my favorite villains of the MonsterVerse, and that is all I can say for the Scar King. Now for the human characters, starting off with is Rebecca Hall as Eileen. Now Eileen in this movie, with Eileen in this movie, since the last time we saw her was Godzilla versus Kong, and now we get to see her once again in this movie. So, Eileen in this movie, she's trying to connect with her adopted daughter who's deaf, and because of with her adopted daughter being deaf, Eileen uses sign language like she did in the last movie. And I do like the chemistry between those two characters, and with things that she's trying to go down to Hollow Earth to see what's going on, see what's going on, to see what's up, see what's Hollow Earth, and that is all I can say for Eileen in this movie. Excuse me. And Rebecca Hall is really good in this movie as Eileen. I feel like she's the only human character that really, really impresses me. Her and her adopted daughter, they're the only two who made me proud and really liking these characters, and that's all I can say for Eileen. Next up is now we get to Dan Stevens as Trapper. Now Trapper, on the other hand, Trapper in this movie, he's just kind of, he's just kind of there. To just probably be a little bit more like the comedy relief, but I do like the tech stuff that he made in this, made in this movie. But like I said, he's just kind of there to help Eileen on this journey to get to this Hollow Earth that's under beneath Earth already, and that's all I can say for Dan Stevens in this movie. And Dan Stevens as Trapper is, there were some parts that I liked, some parts I didn't like about the character. He at least I respect him for trying. At least he's trying, but I think that's all I can say for Trapper. Then last but not least is Brian Tyree Henry as Bernie. Now Bernie in this movie, he's just there. Yeah, he's also the secondary, sort of like the secondary comedy relief, but I feel like in this movie, he was turning out to be a little bit annoying. That's not being rude or anything, because I can tell the looks of it. I was like, well, there were some parts that made me laugh. There were some parts that he made me laugh. There were some parts I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And that is all I can say for Bernie in this movie. And Brian Tyree Henry, yes, he was really good in Godzilla vs. Kong, but in this movie, he did okay. He was just probably there to be the secondary comedy relief of the movie, and that's all I can say for Bernie. And that is it for the actors and the characters and the creatures themselves. So the thing is, the action sequences in this movie are pretty good. I think there was some at least 2 or 3 action sequences in this movie, but the final battle was amazing. I love the final battle in the last film, but in this movie, the final battle in this movie was totally awesome. The cinematography of all the fight scenes and the action sequences were pretty good, and I love the final battle in this movie like I liked in the last film. Well, speaking of which, my biggest issue, let's talk about the issues I have with this movie. The biggest issue I have with this movie is the writing. I feel like the writing isn't that good. Now, the writing, but some of the characters were okay, but some of the writing with at least 1 or 2 characters were good, but some I'm just like, no, that's just wrong. But the fact is, I feel like the humans are taking over this movie. And I was like, no, I just want to see some monsters. I just want to see monster characters just kick each other's asses and all that, fighting each other. I just wanted to see that. I'm just there for that. Yeah, I was just there for that. I mean, for the human characters, I'm fine with, but I just don't really care much about the human characters, to be honest. But I'm just there for the monsters, and that is it. But but in what else about this movie? I mean, but one of the good things about this movie, the CGI, the visual effects are amazing. I mean, they do really good with the visual effects. The cinematography, I do like the cinematography and the visual effects in this movie. But I feel like I think a few issues I have with this movie is basically the film kind of feels rushed. I feel like the movie was trying to get to the main point of the movie, but I wish the film kind of relaxes. But with Godzilla not being in the movie all that much, being the side character, I just wish the movie kind of relaxes and kind of just switch to Godzilla to be get a little bit more screen time in this movie. I mean, probably just give him more screen time. Like, both Godzilla and Kong could have get way more screen time in this movie like they did last time, but in this movie they didn't. But I guess King Kong is the only monster character in this movie that gets way more screen time than Godzilla and Scar King in this movie. So, like I said, I just wish the movie kind of relaxes so we can see. So I wish the movie kind of relaxes so we can spend a little bit more quality time with those two monster characters, and that is it. But also, I wish the movie kind of relaxes and just straight up calms down, like not rush things through. The movie does kind of feel rushed quite a bit. Like, the movie was trying to get to the main point of the movie, and I was like, look, I get it, but the movie could at least took its time to get to the main point of the film. And that is all I can say for the rest of the movie. But the rest of the movie, there were some good things and some bad things about this movie. That is all I can say for Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. But one thing that really kind of feels strange is the title of the movie. Adding the letter X to the title, Godzilla X Kong. I don't know what X I was like, yeah, people are like, wait, X, that doesn't make any sense. Or some people might say, like, what does it mean? Does it mean Godzilla and Kong? I don't know. But for me, I said not that I know of. But yeah, the title does kind of feel a little bit weird. But I mean, I wish they called it like Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, which would have been a better title. Like, take the X out and put the letter and in. And that is all I can say for Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. But yeah, there was some good and bad things about the movie, and that is all I can say for Godzilla X Kong, and that is pretty much it. And hopefully we'll see these monsters once again in the near future. And that is all I can say. There's nothing much else to say, so be sure to like, subscribe, press notification bell, follow me on Instagram, comment down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.